Constitution of the United States of America, 14th Amendment, and this is where they're going with this. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state, okay, so this is really fascinating because it does lay it out quite clearly. All persons born or naturalized keyword, in the United States, and if you weren't fully convinced, here's the second part, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Well, who is subject to the jurisdiction thereof? See, the A and D. So you have two of them. They must be born or naturalized in the United States. That's first. And second, they also must be subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Now, how many people are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States? None, because the United States is subject to us, because it's the people that created it. Okay? No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. Now, this is where I differentiate from other people, but slowly people are beginning to come around and see where I'm coming from. As a sovereign, we can have lots of people, we can have lots of persons. We may be one people, one of the people. We may be one sovereign people, one sovereign man, but we can have many persons, many persons. So here is a good example of it. What I'm looking at is, even though I am the man, or I am man, I may have persons. And according to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, it clearly states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, their houses, papers, and effects. Now, clearly telling you that people have persons, maybe many different types of persons. They may have many different types of houses. Okay, it says born. Okay, born, technically, even still can be born, is kind of a mix of terms. You know, when, for instance, who is it today is celebrating their 10th? Oh, all you see is celebrating their 10th birthday. So I find many companies, many references to companies' birthdays. Okay, they're celebrating a birthday. So in that sense, they feel that they were born or birthed. Claim that he's not a person. Okay, this is Jeffrey again. Here we go. Jeffrey, you know, I don't know why you can't just listen, and if you don't like it, go do your own show. Seriously, dude. Frustrating. No, I could never be a person. I know you can't understand it. You can't get your head wrapped around it. I don't know why. I mean, you know, maybe you're just a troll, and in your particular social environment, you know, you believe that you can be a person. I don't see how anyone can be a mask. Tell me how you can be a mask or a persona. You can act like one, you know, like you act like a jackass. Okay, you act like an asshole, and you may smell like an asshole, but it doesn't make you an asshole, okay? Even though it sure looks like shit's coming out of your mouth or in your typing here, which is why I've just blocked you again. If you're not going to come in, rules, people don't know the rules. The rules are, if you're not going to contribute and be positive, go away. It's that simple. I'm not playing anymore. I will mute the whole damn board and everything else because we're not playing. We got people who have business. We have things we need to get done, and this is helpful to other people.
So that was Colin getting pissed off at me for calling him a person. The comment about social circles was hilarious to me because, you know, sovereign citizen circles is the only place where you can get somebody pissed off at you for calling them a person. But anyways, this is an important point of discussion because the whole person thing is one of the cornerstones of the sovereign citizen movement. Most statutes, laws, and all of that stuff refer to human beings as persons, and the sovereign citizens believe that okay, that's a loophole there. You just say that you're not a person, and therefore the law doesn't apply to you because the law only applies to persons. Now, let's start the discussion in reverse order. Colin starts with the claim that a person is a mask. And he gets this from the etymology of the word person. Quote, from the Latin persona, a part in a drama, assumed character, originally mask, false face. Now, the problem with that claim should be obvious. The etymology of a word is not the definition of a word. The etymology of a word is what that word used to mean in the past in other languages. He's using the definition of persona in Latin and claiming that that is what the word still means 2,000 years later in English. And by the way, and the etymology of the word person actually debunks that very claim. From the online etymology dictionary, you can look it up yourself. Again, person comes from Old French personi, human being, any one person. Directly from Latin, persona, human being, person, personage. So no, even if you're going off the etymology of the word, person means a human being. You and me, individuals, what we are. Yeah, you're still a person, even if you're sticking to the etymology of the word. Now, the second thing that Colin cites to bolster his person argument is a tortured reading of the Sixth Amendment, or clause of the Sixth Amendment. Quote, the right of the people to be secure in their persons. He interprets that to mean that people can have multiple persons. Now, if we diagram the sentence, we see the problem with that argument. People is plural. The only way to make this sentence be grammatically correct is for persons to be plural. Otherwise, let's read what it would say if otherwise. It would read the right of the people to be secure in their person. The people are not one person. The people are 300 million people in the United States. So obviously they would have to be secure in their persons because there's 300 million persons in the United States. This is also a basic reading comprehension error. Your person refers to your individual body, as you can verify in Oxford's dictionary. And there's a whole bunch of examples of sentences. For example, they asked if I could account for what had been found on my person, keep the phone on your person, somewhere about my person, attacks on their person, blah, blah, blah. Your person is your individual body. When somebody says your person, it's referring to your body. It's not a persona or a mask. But let's also look at the 14th Amendment, which he was reading to see if his claim that a person is a mask or a corporation makes sense. The clause of the 14th Amendment that he was reading reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. Now, how can a mask be born? Uh, in the only way the 14th Amendment makes sense is if you interpret a person to be a human being. All human beings born in the United States. A corporation cannot be born. Corporations do not come out of vaginas and lactate and grow up into adults. There's no way to interpret this to mean that this was written to mean that a person is a mask or a corporation. Finally, let's look at how the founding fathers used the word person to see if it is consistent with Collins' claim that person, as used in the Constitution, refers to a mask or a corporation. This is John Adams writing in March 4th, 1776. Quote, his person, his property, his reputation are not safe without it. Um, Here, clearly referring to person as his physical body. This is Abigail Adams writing in 1786. With regard to his person, he is tall, slender, and a good figure, a complexion naturally dark, but made still more so by 7 or 8 years of service in the field, where he reaped laurels more durable than the tincture of his skin. In other words, his person is his physical body. His physical body is tall and slender. This is George Washington writing in 1776. Nothing adds more to the appearance of a man than dress and proper degree of cleanliness in his person. Here, person again clearly referring to his physical body, cleaning your body, washing up. This is John Patton writing in 1826, quote, they cannot conceive any remuneration sufficient to compensate the danger of injury to their persons from stones and brickbats, or to their feelings as gentlemen from the coarse abuse of rioters and drunkards. In other words, injury to their physical body from stones and brickbats. Obviously, a mask in a corporation cannot be stoned. It cannot be injured with bats. And you can do the search yourself. Nowhere in the 176,000 documents that we have of writings by the Founding Fathers is the word person used to mean a mask or a corporation. And you can verify this for yourself. Nowhere does it say that that a human being can have multiple persons. Person is always used to mean your physical body. Finally, let's look at the ramifications of this argument. Um, let's start in Texas. The statute that makes it a crime for you to use your car on public roads without a license is 521.021, and it refers to persons. A person cannot operate a motor vehicle on a highway unless you have a license. So presumably, if you could convince somebody that you're not if you could convince a judge that you're not a person, you could drive around with a license and they couldn't touch you. But then logically, that person argument must also apply to every other statute and law that uses the word person. For example, the statute that makes it a crime for you to kill another human being in the state of Texas is Penal Code 19.03. It reads, a person commits an offense if the person commits murder. So if you truly are not a person, then you can murder people in the state of Texas as much as you want. You can kill as many people as you want, and they can't touch you because you're not a person. So clearly, that interpretation of person meaning a corporation or a mask cannot be true, because makes no sense for a corporation to murder someone. It makes no sense for a mask to murder someone. Clearly, you are a person. Only person is capable of killing other people. Moving on, the statute that makes it a crime for you to rape another human being in the state of Texas is Penal Code 22.011. And it reads, a person commits an offense if the person causes the penetration of the sexual organ of another person by any means without that person's consent. So clearly that okay, if Colins' argument is accurate, he can rape anybody that he wants in the state of Texas. He can just go around raping every single man, woman, child in the state of Texas, and the state cannot prosecute him because he's not a person. So I am sorry to burst Colins' bubble here, but yes, he is a person. The dictionary says so. The statutes and codes say so. The founding fathers say so. Common sense tells you that you are a person. This is not a loophole that is going to work. It is not a loophole that will ever work, because the logical ramifications of the argument will lead to a situation in which it would be impossible to jail people for murder, rape, and all sorts of horrible crimes. And those are the logical reasons for why the argument is wrong. The dictionary, common usage, figuring out the definition of a word from context. But the other side of the argument is that this has been tried before. People have tried to go into court and say that they're not a person. It never works. And logically, if you think about it, you're trying to go into a court, and your success depends on being able to convince a judge that you're not a person. And the judge is never going to do that. The judge is never going to agree with that, because the judge knows that if he can declare you a non-person, you'd be able to rape, murder, steal, do whatever the fuck you want, and the state couldn't touch you. That is just never going to happen. The whole person argument is a waste of time, not just logically, because it's wrong, but just common sense. The judge is never going to agree with you.